Hello everybody, welcome into a special Thursday morning edition of the Telegram Football Insiders. I'm Josh Wallfish. As you plainly see, I am flying solo tonight. So let's just jump right into the games. A couple of interesting Thursday night matchups to take a peek at. First one, Southern Nash at Bunn. This is going to be an interesting game for me because I think this is going to be Southern Nash's first stiff test. The Firebirds have looked amazing offensively with their great rotation at running back, with a quarterback in Matt Hampton who's not asked to do too much. But Bunn has a prolific offense of their own with their rushing attack. Obviously, a team that got to a state title game last season, the 2AA ranks. So curious to see how the Firebirds defense, which has not completely been tested. Wilson, Beddingfield, Northwood's two good teams, but definitely not on the level of Bunn offensively. Where I think Southern Nash can take advantage is on Bunn's defense, and I'll be curious to see if that game turns into a shootout or if Southern Nash's defense can continue its strong play from the first 2 weeks. The other interesting game for me on Thursday is the game I will be at, Nash Central hosting North Johnston. The Panthers, a surprise upstart 2-0 team, defeating Lewisburg and Rosewood in their opening two games, and quite frankly, they're playing some really good football under first-year head coach John Rebus, and I'm curious to see how Nash Central responds to that. They played well in a loss at Tarboro to open the season. Obviously had some struggles in terms of getting the ball actually into the end zone, had a couple of red zone miscues that cost them significant points, but bounced back with a strong 44-6 victory over Smithfield Selma last week. The Bulldogs need to be running high, have to have their confidence high after that victory. And quite frankly, this is a big week for them. You have to go back to September 7th, 2012 for the last time Nash Central had a winning record in football. So a 4-year streak could come to an end if Nash Central can get the job done on Thursday night. And thanks to Labor Day weekend plus Tropical Storm or Depression 9, when you're watching this, it might have been upgraded already, but at the moment, it's still Tropical Depression number 9. Only 2 games on Friday, and both of them, I think, are interesting for very different reasons. The first game I'll talk about is Northeast Carolina Prep, Rocky Mount Prep. And that's interesting because these are the 2 worst teams in our area. Let's be perfectly frank here. Both teams have already lost to Gaston Kip Prep. The other loss for Northeast Carolina Prep, they lost an opener to Apex Friendship. Rocky Mount Prep did not look very competitive last week against Raleigh Word of God. And I'm curious to see how these 2 teams actually match up. When these 2 teams played last year, it was very clear that Northeast Carolina Prep had the best player on the field in Tyrese Gilliam, and that proved to be the difference because Rocky Mount Prep could not stop Tyrese Gilliam the same way Northeast Carolina Prep was able to really limit what Percy Harper could do. Now, Percy Harper's off at UNCP. Tyrese Gilliam has not been as strong to start the season so far. And I'm curious to see how those 2 teams really match up and what might be the only win either of these teams really has for the season. The other game that is interesting and probably is the game of the week in the Twin Counties, Northern Nash hosting Tarboro. Northern Nash, a couple minutes away from being 2-0 and making this a battle of unbeaten. Tarboro has looked simply dominant in their 2 victories. So curious to see what's gonna bend first. Northern Nash's defense, which has played 7 extremely great quarters of football before last week's fourth quarter collapse, giving up 21 points, or Tarboro's offense, which has had its flaws. They had 12 penalties last week in a victory over Washington, but they have so many weapons, Tarboro does offensively, that's going to be an interesting matchup. On the flip side, can Tarboro's defense continue to be as strong as it has been? It has been a rock for the Vikings through 2 weeks. Obviously, not giving up a point has certainly been helpful, but Northern Nash's offense, with their rushing attack and the way Randy Raper likes to run the ball, can pose some problems for Tarboro on the outside, which in reality is the weakest point of the rush defense, is trying to get outside the tackles, which is where Northern Nash likes to run. So those are going to be my 2 keys. Can Northern's defense hold down Tarboro's offense, and can Tarboro's defense really eliminate the outside? It's going to be a fascinating game. I will be there as well, and we will actually get a recap Friday night from us, so no Thursday night recap despite most of the games being played. We'll wait till that Tarboro Northern Ash game, and we'll see you Saturday morning.